Recording in progress.
Yes, shall I start?
Yes, please.
A warm welcome to all of you. Thanks for attending this webinar. The topic is healing through food and fitness. It's an apt topic considering that our environment is deteriorating constantly. In real terms, health and fitness are two sides of the same coin, which means both are very necessary to live a healthy and happy life. Without proper health and fitness, one cannot have a feeling of physical, mental, and social well-being, which is very important for our WZCC members. This topic reminds me of a short story of a boy who loved to eat candy, cookies, and jellies. He used to sit quietly in his bedroom and eat large bags of jelly beans before dinner and have very little food at the dinner table. One day, he went to buy a penguin suit for his fancy dress competition. And the suit none of the sizes fitted him. All suits that were shown to him, he couldn't fit into any. When he came home, he felt dejected. So his mother said, "Here are a few things you can do to solve your problem. Eat healthy food, fruits, vegetables, and do a bit of jogging." In no time, the boy became healthy and started enjoying life. Today's webinar is on the same topic. We have two lovely speakers, Anahita Gustaspi and Ashdin Doctor, who will provide wonderful tips on food and fitness. Participants, please feel free to enter your questions in the chat box. Ferzin Irani, the director of this program from Dubai, will take them up in the end. Needless to say, the support and patronage of our community is the bedrock of WZCC's success. We are a membership organization, so your membership is very valuable to us. Those who have still not become members, we invite you to join WZCC, as there is no greater honor than being a member of WZCC, no greater pride than wearing the badge of WZCC, and no greater religious act than serving WZCC, a 20-year-old organization that promotes creation of economic, social, and intellectual value. I now invite Zarine Commissariat to start the program. Zarine needs no introduction. She is a stalwart and has served WZCC for a long, long time. She has joined us live from Mumbai, and I wish her all the best. Zarine, please start with the program. Thank you.
Bhesania, thank you very, very much. You have been organizing one super program after another for WZCC, and today promises to be absolutely wonderful. WZCC members, friends, non-members who are here with us today. Food and fitness have always been important, but today's session is about healing by food and fitness. You will all agree that this pandemic has led us to isolation and depression and tremendous worries, and hence healing is very, very important. So let me introduce to you our first speaker of the evening. She is Chef Anahita Gustaspi. She loves experimenting with food, and today she will share with us recipes that are not only delicious, but also healthy. Anahita is the regional executive chef for HSBC in Dubai. She was the only female finalist and runner-up for Time Out Chef of the Year 2012 in Abu Dhabi. In UAE, she has worked with Michelin-starred chef Marco Pierre White in 2 of his restaurants. In her spare time, she likes to research and develop Zoroastrian cuisine and spreads the joy of the cuisine from her Instagram handle at the boisterous Barbie. And now, here's the latest news about Anahita. She has been selected as the face of UAE for her company in the Global Chef Appreciation Week. I repeat what Bhesania said. If you have any questions, please enter them in the chat box. And now, over to Yasdi Tantra for Anahita's video presentation.
Hello and welcome to our healthy eating seminar today. My name is Anahita Gustaspi and I will be the chef who is curating special recipes for you to take you through a healthier eating lifestyle. The goal of today is not for you to change your lifestyle completely, but actually it is to make a few small changes which over time bring about a snowball effect in a better health and a gut life. Alright, so starting today, I'm going to start with a breakfast item. What I have created is a chia almond pudding. Alright, so this is a baseline, and then from there you can take it up or you can customize this dish to how you would like to have it. So I have chosen plant-based alternatives today. So you can go for a soya milk and almond milk. There's also coconut milk, oat milk, flaxseed milk available nowadays, other than regular dairy alternatives. These are regular dairy alternatives. So I'm trying to steer you away from dairy. Alright, not because I don't like it, but because they are alternatives that are now available to us, which are healthier and give us more nutritional value. So starting with the plant-based milk, your choice, I have selected almond milk for today. I am then going to chia seeds. Chia seeds are very high in omega-3 fatty acids. These are a plant-based alternative source other than salmon. So what happens is if you're vegetarian or you're looking at to increase your plant intake or your vegetable intake in your life, this is the perfect alternative for you. This, other than having omega-3s, also it swells up in water. So it has the same effect as the faluda seeds that we have, or sabjo as we call them. So this, when it comes in your stomach, it has a higher fiber and it takes longer to get absorbed in your body. So it keeps you fuller and more satisfied for a longer time. So you don't feel hungry and you tend not to snack as often. With that, I am going to be then adding some almond flakes, again to complement the almond milk, just to keep in with the trend with it. Almond milk is, again, a very high source of protein, a very good plant-based source of protein. So you don't need to get all your proteins from animal sources. You can also get them from plant-based sources. So I'm just showing you an avenue. I'm introducing you to an avenue that you already might know, or you might be seeing it for the first time. So it comes out beautifully, this product. With that, I have some homemade granola. This is a granola personal recipe of mine. So I am very partial to it. Again, this is cranberries, which are high in antioxidants. It has pumpkin seeds, again, which are a good source of organic oils, sunflower seeds, walnuts, almonds. So this, again, is a very healthy source, and it's sweetened with honey. This entire chia pudding, again, I'm going to be sweetening today with honey. Honey is a natural source of sweetening, which again for me is a better alternative to having regular off-the-shelf sugar or refined sugar. Yes, sugar comes in from an organic source like cane sugar or beet sugar, but going in for the most natural form, which is honey, agave, or maple syrup, all three are fantastic alternatives and give a slightly different flavor profile to your entire meal. So let's start with this, all right? So what we are going to do is you take a mixing bowl. I have taken 30 grams of chia seeds, all right? So that's 30 grams. It looks like a lot, but they're really tiny. Okay, we are going to go with 150 grams of almond milk. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put the almond milk in 2 batches. So I'm going to put about 50 to 75 ml in the first shot. Mix it up because chia seeds tend to clump together. So you need to whisk it really fast so that they don't join and become big blobs. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. And then after they increase in size, I'm then going to add the remaining 50 to 75 ml of the almond milk. Alright, let's get started. So as you can see it clumps, it all comes to the top. So you need to whisk it a little vigorously in the beginning, right, to ensure that it all opens out. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. All right, once this is done, then I'm going to add just the top more so that there is enough liquid for the chia seeds to absorb and improve in size. All right, so this is how it's going to look like. This is what it's going to look like. All right, being honest, I cheated a little. Okay, I made a batch earlier on just so that you can see how it's going to look. So this is what the final product does look like. All right, it sticks together. It's gloopy. Let me put it the other way. It sticks together. It's gloopy, but it holds itself. Okay, so this is what we are aiming for. Now, when you have this product, very simple to assemble it, to make it look good. You know, you can have it, give it to your children for their breakfast in the morning. Of course, please ensure that if anybody has a nut allergy or they are intolerant to a certain product, please try to stay away from them. I have given you enough alternatives that are there. To the milks, to the nuts, you can choose what works well for you, right? So what we're going to do is you have to just layer this bowl. This is very simple, as you can see, extremely simple. If you don't have jars, we have regular dabbas, you don't go for it, don't worry. All right, I just have this available on hand in my kitchen. That's why I'm showing off it. Don't worry. Okay, so as you can see, the chia pudding is looking nice. Okay, if you're not comfortable with this texture, right, you can even put this in yogurt. If you like a little smoother texture, you can go for yogurt. Right, so as you can see, this is ready to go. Then from here on, right? You can now
Excuse me, we seem to have lost the kitchen view.
you can choose. I'm going to do an alternative. So what I'm going to do is, in this pot, I'm going to add some honey just on top, right?
Sorry, Yazdi, we can't see the video, Yazdi.
Not even half a teaspoon, right? That's it. So I'm going to be adding some almond flakes. Okay. Now, if you're going to be having it for breakfast, so you want to include some fruit as well. I've taken some strawberries. Any kind of berry works fantastically with this dish because, again, berries are very high in antioxidants. They're very good for you. They give you a good source of vitamin C as well. So all of this works well for you. All right. So I usually like to add in some berries. Okay. And then again, as I said, if you want, you can add some granola on top. If not, this is also a complete breakfast. This will give you the amount of calories, the nutrition that you require to start your day on a very, very healthy note. Bon appetit. The second dish I've curated for you are some protein power bites. These are tiny balls that we're going to make with different kinds of nuts and seeds. Again, these are to help you on at around 11 o'clock time frame when we sort of get snackish and we want to eat something. So this is a healthier option that you can have. Additionally, you can also have these just before you hit the gym, so about 45 minutes to an hour before, because these are high in energy, natural fats and oils. This give you the energy that are required for you to have a better workout. Alright, so here we go. Additionally, you can also add some plant-based milk, or you can add regular milk, depends on what you like, to this and have it as a protein shake. You don't need to have it as bites that I have suggested. So this is again a very versatile way to use natural ingredients. We are starting with 3 kinds of nuts and 3 kinds of seeds. So you're going to have pistachios, almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and flax seeds. Now, not a lot of people include flax seeds in their diet, and that's actually a tragedy because in India, specifically in Maharashtra area, they use flax seeds and it's called javas over there, and they make a chutney out of it, which is very good because if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, this helps reduce your bad cholesterol. What I have done is you need to roast the pistachios and the walnuts first at 180 degrees for 4 minutes, and then because I had sliced almonds, I added them in later. So at around the 4.5 minute mark, you need to add the flax seeds, the sunflower seeds, the pumpkin seeds, and the almonds. All right. Here's my trusty blender. What I'm going to do is, this is 50 grams of walnuts, 50 grams of almonds, 50 grams of pistachios, 25 grams of pumpkin seeds, 25 grams of sunflower seeds, and 15 grams of flax seeds. That's all you need. Put them in. And then that's about the time it takes, 10 seconds. Right? So now we are good to go. As you can see, these are ground to a powder. So what happens is when you roast these nuts, you are activating the natural oils present and you're bringing them more to the surface. So if you see it here, it doesn't look that appealing or that appetizing, but as you can see, they already are forming shape. So you literally just need to put them in your hand, and with your body heat, you will be able to roll them in shape. That's all you need. So even if it is just 50 grams, 25 grams, this tends to add up. So there's quite a bit in here still. I am not really going in and getting it out all through. But you'll be able to see that's quite a bit. These, if you make them into 10 or 15 gram balls, all right, these should take you through for quite a bit of time in the day. So I'm just roughly eyeballing the amount that I need, right, just for this presentation. So, showing off over here, all right. So basically, you will have these little nut balls, or these nut bites as I call them, all right. Okay. So you have these nut bites ready. They're perfect. If you can see them, come a little close, right? They're nice and shining. You can see the oil that has been activated in them. These are extremely good for you. My recommendation is you can keep them in an airtight container for up to 4 days, but try not beyond that because the oil tends to get rancid. Once the oil is activated with oxygen, it interacts quite a bit and then it tends to get rancid or off, or as we say, thoru thai jai. Okay, so that's what happens. Now, you can also, as I mentioned before, alternatively use this in a plant-based milk. Alright, so if you're not comfortable having them in this form, I'm going to be using soya milk for this. Alright, so if you're not comfortable, and it's perfectly alright, your food needs to be customized to what suits you, what works for you. Alright, this is, I will keep repeating this throughout in this presentation, is because everyone thinks that if a recipe is posted or if a recipe is recommended by somebody, you need to follow it 100%. Not really. Depends on the major key ingredients. But other than that, you can always add your own personal touch and your own tweaks. So as you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm adding some soya milk. Alright. Okay. You need to blend it in. Or there was me who wants to use all the stuff that I have still inside. I'll just pop that in there. Give me a second. Perfectly blended, very healthy protein shake. Alright? It's as simple and as easy as that. You don't need to worry about anything. You can see it's perfectly blended. It's fantastic, it's beautiful. Cheers! Our next dish is cinnamon roasted peaches with Greek yogurt. Alright? This dish is a dedication to my Mamaiji. Like she always taught me, and she was very insistent about eating in season. She said, Anahita, the more you eat in season, the better it is for your body, because each vegetable that comes out of the earth sort of connects with your body, and your body needs it at exactly that right point of time. So this is a dedication to her, right? Very simple dish. I cannot stress how simple this is. I cannot tell you how beautiful this dish is. And again, I'm going to make this dish one. You can have this as a dessert. You can have it for breakfast if you like. So extremely, extremely versatile. So you can have it for breakfast. You can have it for dessert. If you don't want to have a heavy lunch, you want to have something on the go, something quick, you can make this happen for you. Or if you're entertaining and you want to show off, this is the dessert for you. Trust me. So we start with peaches. I've gone for regular in-season peaches. You do not need to go for something which is not in season. Peaches season or stone fruit rather. So you have peaches, you have plums, you have nectarines. I have nectarine here, I have some peaches, you can go for plums. All three work beautifully in the oven. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. All you need to do literally is just slip them down where they are. Okay, twist them slightly. Okay, and it opens out. Once you have these open out, you need to be careful. Alright, you need to get the pit out. If it doesn't come out as it does here, again, cut it into a quarter, hold it with the seed, press, it opens out, take the seed, pop it out, as simple. Please be safe, alright, don't need to worry about it. Then from here on out, you need to take the peaches. Okay, I'll cut up another one for you. Okay, simple. Alright, this one's easier, popped up, see? With the peaches, I have some brown sugar, alright, some cinnamon. These are the only two things you need. If your peaches are really sweet, actually you don't need to go for this. Alright, this again depends upon you. Customize it to what you like. Alright, so I'm just using a pinch, literally 3 grams of sugar, lightly sprinkle on the peaches. Alright, and you're going to need less than a pinch of cinnamon. That's all you need of cinnamon. Again, I don't like cinnamon that much, but I was actually amazed when I was working out on different dishes to showcase for you. I actually put cinnamon on this one. So we roasted peaches without cinnamon. We did peaches with cinnamon, and this worked much better. So yes, I'm a convert for cinnamon. Alright, so again, just a little bit of brown sugar, some cinnamon on the peaches. You need to roast them in the oven at 250 degrees for exactly 6 minutes. Alright, you can even go lesser if your peaches are more ripe. So what I did do is I baked some peaches earlier on beforehand and a nectarine, so that's why you'll see different colors. Alright, so if you can see, these are the peaches that I did earlier on. I added the same amount of sugar. Alright, so they're nice, they're soft, they're juicy, perfect. Alright, so these are done. What we are then going to do is, I have some Greek yogurt here. If you don't have Greek yogurt and you just have regular yogurt, that's fine. Again, your choice, customize it. You want to go for coconut yogurt, you want to go for other plant-based yogurt, is perfectly alright. This is the one dairy yogurt that I'm taking. This one happens to be a low-fat dairy yogurt. Alright, so I have a dairy yogurt and a very beautiful plate. Alright, and this is how difficult this dish is to make. Alright. Oops. Okay. So you've taken about 75 to 80 grams of yogurt. Put it in the center of a plate. If you're entertaining people, you can have a larger platter, or if you want to do them individuals, go for it. Okay, and then spread it down the center. Alright, that's all it takes. There you go. Grab the peaches here. Just rough slice them. You don't need to go for perfect slices. Alright, I don't like things in symmetry too much. Alright, it sort of if it's too perfect, you sort of don't tend to appreciate it. If it looks a little bit jagged or unnatural, that tells you that the product has not been tampered with too much. So that's a tip. Alright, go for different shapes, different sizes. Right? If you want to put this in a lunch box, you can go for this in your lunch box as well. Okay. If you feel that no, you're not interested in putting sugar, alright, again, you can go for honey, you can go for different varieties, whatever works better for you, alright. I cannot stress this enough, because what people do is they tend to take things as sacrosanct and then they stick to it, and nahi khai sake. That's never a problem. All right. Just a touch of cinnamon on top. Literally, that's all. Okay. Choose if you'd like. All right. If you would like, I would recommend that you go for some almonds. If you're looking at some alternatives, all right. Go for some almonds. All right. Just pop them on. Okay. They work really well. There you go. Cinnamon peaches with yogurt.
Go.
As an added bonus, as I've mentioned that the roast peaches are very versatile, I would like to share with you another recipe you can make using the same product. So if you're not interested in having it with yogurt, alright, we can make a salad with it. The same product, exactly the same, alright, till we have roasted the peaches. And then from there, you can split out how you would like to use them. Right? Just allow me. Okay. So again, same roast peaches. Okay. And here I have a different setup. So what I have is some baby arugula or baby rocket leaves, some baby spinach, some strawberries, ripe avocado, and again you can use almond if you'd like. If you don't want, you can completely leave this out. It's your choice. Alright, so I'm just showing you what else you can do with the same starting point. So I'll just add the roast peach here, just so that you can see all the ingredients. Alright, this is again a very beautiful salad. This dish works very well for the UAE because it's very hot over here right now. And this is a perfect salad for lunch, or if you're having something light for dinner, you can have this salad, have a little bit of grilled chicken, and you're sorted for the evening. You don't need to have something which is very heavy. So we're going to start with this. All we need is the roasted peaches, some arugula lettuce, baby spinach. Okay, I'm going to take my plate. Okay. Again, if you're entertaining, works really well every time. So I'm taking a combination, alright, of some baby spinach. I'll work on this later. Okay. So I'm taking a combination of baby spinach and arugula leaves, alright. With this, touch of olive oil, alright, just a hint of honey, alright. I'm not using any other kind of dressing. I'm going for a very organic, light dressing, alright. So that's all the honey you need, okay. Alright, salad's done. Place it in the center. Just slice them up. I'm going for a rough hand. Alright, I'm not going for perfect slices. I am not going for any perfection. The more rustic it looks, that's the current trend going around nowadays, so you don't need to worry. Alright, if you would like, you can always add a little bit of fresh ricotta, alright, or cottage cheese, zero fat cottage cheese. Again, works beautifully with this. I'm adding in some strawberries, so you'll see there'll be a pop of color. Alright, things just get accentuated with this. Alright, a little bit of sea salt. That's all you need. And avocado. Again, avocado, if it's ripe, every time. Okay? An avocado, when you know it's ripe, I'll tell you, there's a secret. You need to just test it. If it's slightly soft to your touch, don't press it. Alright? Or you open the eye, and if it pops out easily, that's when you know your avocado is ripe. Alright? So this one's a beautiful fellow. Alright? Again, random slices. You don't need to worry about perfection. Okay? If we aren't perfect, why should the food be? Alright? Then that's how easy it is. Right, you literally don't even need half an avocado. This salad is perfect as it is. If you'd like, as I've mentioned before, you can add some almond. This will just elevate it slightly. All right. This is your perfect dinner party, healthy lunch, or a show-off dish. Thank you.
Yes, is that the end of the video?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, friends, have you built up an appetite? I sure have. Anahita, thank you very, very much for sharing these wonderful recipes with us and also for teaching us how to cook them so wonderfully well. You made them all sound so easy. Anahita, you kept saying that we don't necessarily have to aim for perfection, but when you made that circle with the yogurt, for your cinnamon peaches with yogurt, your circle was such a perfectly round circle. I would definitely need a compass to get such a perfect circle. Thank you very much, Anahita. You are not just a wonderful chef, but a wonderful teacher. Thank you. A round of applause for Anahita. And don't forget to put down questions if you have any in the chat box. I now invite our next speaker, who is Ashdin Doctor, a Mumbai-based gentleman who is a habit coach podcaster. He has a YouTube channel, Awesome 180. He conducts a habit coaching program. If you check out the internet, you will come across 300 episodes of The Habit Coach. Best ways to fall asleep. One way to stop procrastinating. All these are superbly explained. Ashdin has partnered with thought leaders, doctors and experts in various fields related to lifestyles and health. He believes that until the foundation fundamentals are turned into a set of habits which repeat through the day subconsciously, nothing will change. He will now teach us how to transform ourselves into health enthusiasts in this current horrible situation. Over to you, habit coach Ashdin Doctor.
Zarine, thank you so much. All right. So, I don't expect all of us to be putting on our videos, okay? Because that's something that, normally people come and say, put on your videos. But what I want you to do is I want you to become best friends with the chat box. Can everyone open the chat box? And I'm going to ask you a question. All right. Answer truthfully. In this last 2 years, right, ever since this whole pandemic and everything has started, have you either felt stress or anxiety or sadness or depression? If yes, just type in yes, 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 yes in that chat box. I want to see how many of you feel yes. All right. Lovely. Lovely. How many of you have not felt stressed at all? Yes, until Yazdi gave us this webinar. Love it. How many have never felt stressed during this? You were just like, yeah, Charles say, no problem. How many did not feel stressed at all? Not stress. The interesting thing, exactly right there, Rati, the interesting thing is that we have two completely different ways of approaching the situation that has taken place, right? Some people have gone in one completely different direction with being very stressed. Some people have been thriving and feeling very good about everything that has happened, and so different. So the whole idea is to first understand what we're going through. And I thought we'd take this opportunity instead of doing, one nutrition and fitness, where we're talking about exercise and stuff like that. Let's talk about fitness for this kind of a world. And fitness, not in terms of our body, but fitness in terms of our mind first. Because the battle is one where, the battle is one here. Now, the interesting thing to understand is that I'm a habit coach, right? And I started habit coaching because I believe that awesome lives If you want to have an awesome life, you have to start it with the awesome habits, because our habits are ultimately the building blocks of our life. And normally we think of habits as what? Brushing teeth, tying your shoelaces, all those things we consider habits, right? Actions. But I want to tell you that habits are not just the actions in our life. Habits are also the thoughts that we have in our life, right? The thoughts that we have are also habits. If you wake up every morning and go, oh God, pachu te alarm. If you wake up in the morning and go, oh God, one more day, same kind of day, that is also a habit. And that is also the thing that we need to start breaking. So the whole idea is, how do we start getting out of these things? Because once we start changing the kinds of habits that we have, we can start changing the kinds of life that we have. And the truth is that whatever your life is right now, in this present moment, is nothing but all the habits that have come up and you've done till this point in time. And if you want to change your life, all you have to do is change the habits that you choose from today onwards towards the future. Isn't it such a powerful thought? Right? If you find it powerful, type yes, I am with you. Right? Because I want you to join me on this journey, because it is something that we can all do together. Right? Because if you can start making these changes, guaranteed all those yes, the first ones, the stressful times, let's change them around. So the first thing I want you to understand, yes, totally with you, Ashdin. You and Mama saying the same thing. Yay, superb. Love it. So, the important thing is, when we think about our mind, so many times people come to me and say, Ashdin, I just can't stop this mind from thinking. It is constantly thinking and thinking. I think I'm overthinking. I think I'm thinking all these negative thoughts. And I keep telling people, hey, listen, your brain is supposed to think. Right? Just like your heart is supposed to beat. Now you go and tell your heart, stop beating, stop beating, stop beating. Doesn't make any sense. Right? So it's not the sense to say that tell your brain to stop thinking, stop thinking, stop thinking. That doesn't make any sense. Instead, what we have to do is we have to learn about what we put into our mind. Because what we put into our mind is what is being processed. Right? The more positive things we can put into our mind, the more positive thoughts we're going to be having. And the big problem that happened during these last 2 years was not what was happening outside, but what was happening inside, because we kept picking up constantly negative news every single day. I think about our WhatsApp groups. All the WhatsApp groups were nothing but today so many cases, today this one lockdown, today that one lockdown, today this, today that, today that. It was just a constant barrage. So the first habit that I want us to discuss is, how do we start creating this inflow of positivity into our life? Right? So the first thing is, let's first start stopping all the negativity, all the news channels. Anyone who's, like into this whole gossiping with you, with your family, etc., start not associating with them. Start slowly pushing them aside, because that is not what's going to give you a healthy life. Right? If you're constantly, bitching, gossiping, that's what your mind is going to be filled up of. And there is so much good that is there, that is happening, that is completely missed out on. So the first step is, we at a family, we don't have any newspapers coming in to our house. Okay, newspapers have completely gone out. We buy from the Raddiwala only so that we can, clean things in the house using newspaper, because that's actually what we end up using it for. More importantly, we deleted all the news apps from our phone. So if you can do that, delete all the news apps from your phone. Start surrounding yourself in a positive environment. What do I mean? You have brilliant access now to YouTube. Right? Are you all familiar with YouTube? Are you all use YouTube? Because YouTube is such a good resource. There are brilliant speakers on YouTube. Right? You get Jim Rohn. You have, the person who wrote Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. You have fantastic speakers that are giving you this positivity completely for free. And all you have to do is listen and absorb it. So spending 1 hour a day, if you can, watching and listening to this will change your life. Now, there is one very, very nice video. It's called The Secret of Success. I'll put it in, I'll find it and put it in the chat. It's just slipped my mind right now. But it's a brilliant video. It's a 1 hour video. And he suggests listening to it every day. And I did it. I told my clients to do it. And it has made a dramatic difference in their life. So I think starting with filling your mind with positive thoughts is one of the first very important habits. And the whole idea of a habit is how do we make it simple to do? Now, opening YouTube and pressing play is as simple as it gets. Okay. Now you have no excuses not to do that. Right. So find these videos, save them in your YouTube and watch them every day. If you want, we can create one small group where I keep sharing videos. That's also doable. But I want that positivity from us to flow. The second important thing that was missing throughout all this was we turned inwards. During these last 2 years, what happened is we turned inwards, right? We were scared about ourselves, protecting ourselves. And the whole idea is we need to now start thinking outwardly. Because when you start caring for others, when you start doing things for others, you no longer are in a state of worry. You're no longer worried about yourself. And your mind shifts, it changes. Because now you're in a mode of service, you're not in a mode of stress. What can we do for others? How much can we do for others? How much can we put ourselves out there? Right? The more we do that, the more the positivity is going to start flowing in our life. It's a beautiful feeling, giving, right? And the strange thing about giving is that you give one thing, it comes back 3 times as much. It's a very strange phenomenon. I know some of you would have experienced this. You give something, it comes back 3 times as hard, right? So giving is something that we need to get back into our mindset because we got into our shell. We got stuck in our homes. We got into our cocoon. Now it is time to cut open that cocoon, come out and do things for others. With me so far? Yeah? Superb. All right. The last part that I want to talk about is a habit that I want all of us to do daily. Okay. It's a gratitude practice. It is one of my absolute fundamentals, my absolute basics. Any client that I have, any person that I work with, the first thing I make them do is a gratitude practice. All I want you to do every morning when you sit down with your chai, when you sit down with your coffee, when you sit down with Anahita's smoothie, all I want you to do is I want you to sit down and pick a book. And in that book, I want you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. And I don't want you to cheat by writing, I am grateful for, and then ditto marks, ditto marks, ditto marks. Okay. This is not school where we're trying to get into get out of hard work. I want you to write, I am grateful for, and the full name. I am grateful for, I am grateful for. And you can be grateful for a person, you can be grateful for a thing, or you can be grateful for an event, something that happened in your life, somebody that you met, something that happened unexpectedly that you're grateful for. Okay. Now, it doesn't have to be dramatic things. Okay. It doesn't have to be monstrously big things. Like I keep joking, it could be like also like your sabzi wala gave you 2 extra limbus, just like that. Right. Something simple also is something that you can be grateful for. You know, otherwise we get so stuck up on, no, this is not worthy of being my gratitude. Nay, Baba, even something small is worthy of your gratitude. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to start doing this every day. I am grateful for, and these 3 things. But there is a catch. As always, all good things have a catch to them. There's a catch. For the first 30 days, you cannot repeat a single thing. For the first 30 days, you cannot repeat a single thing. That means what? At the end of the month, you're going to have 90 things that you're grateful for. Right? And normally when I tell people this, they're like, are you mad? I can't even think of 3 things right now. You want me to think of 90 things. So the whole thing is that you will start noticing small things taking place in your life in the present. You'll also start noticing and remembering things that happened in the past. You know, there was this Hindi teacher in school. She was always nice to me. I don't know why she was nice to me, but I'm so grateful for her. She really made that class fun for me. And you think about her and you write that down. We forget all these things, don't we? Right? So getting this is nothing but priming your mind. And the reason why I tell you to do this first thing in the morning is because when you do it first thing in the morning, it sets up your day. Your morning sets up your day. If you can take charge of your morning, you have your perfect day ahead of you. So always focus on that. Okay. So these were habits for the mind. Are you going to do this with me? Done? Yes. Lako. Type. Yes. It's a promise. Awesome. All right. Superb. The next one is adding on to what Anahita was talking about, which is nutrition. Okay, nutrition habits are something that I am very personally passionate about, because I realized in my life the biggest change took place when I took control of the food that I was eating. Okay, now I don't know, most of y'all are meeting me for the first time, but 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I was nice and overweight. I had nice big chubby cheeks, and all of that was there. And I realized that what I was putting into my body was turning into my body. Now, my grandmother used to tell me this all the time. Ashdin, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. And we're like, ha, ha, ha. Like my granny is just saying this. Okay, fine. But we don't realize this, that masoor that you ate yesterday is somewhere becoming a part of your body. The junk food that you ate today, the bag of potato chips, is also becoming some part of your body. Now the question is, you ask yourself, what part of your body do you want potato chips to become? Right? What part of your body do you want kurkure or Cheetos or any of those things to become? Once you start asking yourself this, you suddenly realize that, oh no, we better start eating nice fresh avocados. We better start eating nice baked peaches and things like that are actually going to be good for me, instead of not so, pulling me back. Okay, so once that shift takes place, it's a beautiful change. Now, very often we get psyched out by all this nutritional information coming to us: vegan, non-vegetarian, gluten-free, lactose-free, all of that. Let me put a simple way. Don't get bothered by all of this for the time being. Start with one small, simple change. Okay. Now, many of us get very flustered. When we hear the word diet or we hear the nutrition, we get immediately scared. Why do we get scared? Because all nutritionists say, aine khavano, tene khavano, can't eat this, can't eat that. Right? That means you're feeling in a constant state of deprivation. The first thing they do is they deprive you. Now, if they deprive you, why would you want to do it? Make sense? Doesn't make sense, right? So as a result, what I want you to do is, instead of removing first, I want you to first add. So I want you to add at least one thing that you consider extremely healthy, okay, to your dinner, to your meals every single day. One thing, just I want you to add. Because what that's going to do is that's going to put you in the mindset of, I am now worrying about my health. I am now worrying about my food. No longer do I want you to force things. I want them to become struggle-free. When I talk about habits as a habit coach, I say that the first few days are struggle. But when it's no struggle, when it's just peacefully flowing around, that's when it becomes a habit. And that's what I want us to do. Right? So one simple, small thing I want you to add to your day. Make sense? Whether it could be a fruit, whether it could be a salad, whether it's a nice healthy soup, whether it's one of the dishes that Anahita spoke about today, one of those things, just add to your dish and then slowly, slowly grow from there. Okay. No overnight dramatic changes, because that's completely against my whole habit coaching philosophy. Small, continuous changes that we can contain for the rest of our life. Rest of the life is more important than amna sukido and for the next 1 week sukido. Rest of the life is what we're worried about. Okay. Second habit that I want to talk about is something that I absolutely love. It's what helped me lose all this weight. I think helped me get much fitter, helped my parents almost age backwards. And that is intermittent fasting. Now, when I talk about intermittent fasting, something that is either very exciting for some people or very scary for some people. Okay. What is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is basically not eating for a certain amount of hours in a day. Okay. So say you start with not eating for 12 hours in a day. The first thing, how can you not eat for 12 hours? But remember, at night you're sleeping for those 8 hours. So all you're not eating for is technically only 4 hours. Right? You can do 2 hours before, 2 hours afterwards, and hence 12 hours automatically come. Now that's easy, right? If you can do 12 hours of not eating, then what I want you to do is slowly, slowly increase it to 14 hours of not eating. Slowly, slowly increase it to 16 hours of not eating. And that 16-hour mark is where the magic takes place. And I say magic takes place because this is when your body actually starts understanding this concept of fasting. Now, as we know, all religions have some format of fasting. As for some strange reason, it's gotten lost somewhere in the cracks. But I'm sure at some point of time, there was some part of fasting also in our religion. because every single one has it. And I know that it is excellent as a reset. But what fasting does on a daily basis, it allows your body to use all the food that you've already eaten. The second thing that fasting does is that it allows your body to regenerate. See, what we don't realize is every time we put food in our mouth, it is technically almost like a foreign object that's gone into our system. Right? That's why we want to eliminate it as fast as possible. So when you look at Ayurveda, they only talk about elimination. How fast are you eliminating? Right? Because we need to get it out of our system. So when we fast, what happens is that we're giving a rest to our digestive system. And that is what is important for us. So when we rest our digestive system, healing takes place. So getting into the state of fasting makes a lot of sense. It is something that I would encourage all of us to try. Please, obviously, if you have a health condition, speak to a doctor. As we know, my name, the part at the end, the doctor at the end is a surname, and it is not a profession. I didn't do 5 years of studying. So I was born one, luckily. So all we have to do is speak to a doctor, say that, I want to try this 12 hours of fasting. Should I try it? Try it out. See how you feel. The strange thing is, and this is what I found the most interesting, is that after fasting, I was feeling more energetic than before. The energy level started increasing when I was eating lesser, because now my body was actually utilizing all the food that I was eating instead of just dabao. Okay. So fasting is a beautiful habit that you can add to your meals, because we're constantly otherwise eating. We wake up in the morning and we head straight to the kitchen and put something in our mouth. Just before bed, we're watching TV and putting something in our mouth, right? So we're constantly doing this. Fasting is giving ourselves peace, rest, and relaxation. Relaxation is such an important word. We don't talk about it enough, right? Every time you ask somebody, how are you feeling? Stressed, right? But when do we ever say relaxed? And I think relaxation is something that we should add to our life. Just the same way, relaxing our digestive system is also something that we need to add to our life. So understanding fasting, giving ourselves that break, very, very important. Okay. So that was the second habit that I want to talk about from a food point of view. How are we doing on time? Are we good on time? Yep. All right. The last two things, in these last 2 months, I want to add a little bit of movement in our life. Now, movement is a very important part because our body thrives on movement. The less we move, the more our body starts deteriorating, right? Because the funda, use it or lose it, right? And over the last 2 years, we basically just been sitting. We've been doing nothing but sitting, and we're looking at the screen. The other day, I suddenly realized that I'd spent about 9 hours, 8 hours just sitting in meetings looking at the screen. It is crazy. So what we have to do is we have to start getting movement into our life, right? Absolutely. Side stretching, getting up, moving around left, right, makes a big difference. So what I want us to do is I want us to start bringing movement into our life in the form of either when we are watching TV, standing and watching TV, when we are on the computer, standing and watching a computer, or doing our meeting standing. Add movement into our life in terms of walking to places, right? In Dubai, it's so easy to jump into a car and drive to your market, drive to here, drive to there. The more you can walk, the better it is, right? And the way that I normally suggest walking, I was going to say prescribe, then I just gave a bhashan on why I'm not a doctor, so I can't use the word prescribe. But the way that I normally like walking and telling people about walking is I don't want you to do a brisk walk. Normally people say, I go for a brisk walk every morning. I don't want you to do a brisk walk. I want you to do the exact opposite. I want you to do a slow, peaceful walk, almost like you were walking with a 4-year-old. Now, what would that walk look like? It's going to be painfully agonizing, right? That's what I want. Because when you walk so slowly, what you're actually doing is you're actually forcing your muscles to carry your body with each and every step. When you walk fast, what you're doing is you're using momentum. Tuck, 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 tuck. So you get less tired. You'll actually get more tired walking slowly. And the second thing that happens is that walking slowly reduces the blood sugar that's floating in your system. Why? Because when you walk slowly, you're using more of your muscles, which are using the sugar up. So as a result, you start reducing our sugar. And we all know that sugar is a big, big issue in our lives currently, right? The more we can reduce our blood sugar, the more we can reduce our sugar consumption, the better it is. In fact, we're just starting a no sugar challenge next week on, giving up sugar for 30 days. And we're all going to be joining and doing that. So, doing things like this in a community, giving up sugar, reducing the amount of sugar load, all of this makes a very, very big difference in our life. Now, the whole point of this was understanding which of these habits make the most sense to you. Right? We discuss mental habits, we discuss nutritional habits, we discuss movement habits. Now, I don't expect you to do all of them at once. And I don't want you to do all of them at once. Okay? Because when you do all of them at once, none will take place. So as a result, what I want you to do is I want you to choose just 3 of them. 3 that you found the most powerful, 3 that you found the most easy to do. And I want you to start with these from tomorrow. Not from Monday. I know it's going to be like very tempting to say from Monday. No, from tomorrow. Right? I would say from today if you can, but from tomorrow, I'll give you tonight. All right. And start these. Tomorrow, wake up, write the gratitude journal. Right? How much walking time do you advise? I'll answer these questions. Then I'll answer these questions. So in the morning, wake up, do your gratitude exercise. Remove all the news from your life. Fill yourself up with positivity, and let's have a fantastic future, because the habits that we put in today are going to be the life that we create for our future.
A round of applause for Ashdin, Doctor. Ashdin, you have told us to start writing down 3 things for which we are grateful. I don't want to wait till tomorrow. I'd rather do it now, with your permission. So I am grateful to Ashdin, Doctor, for having taught me so many wonderful things today. I am grateful to WZCC for having given me so many privileges over the last 20 years. I am grateful to Bhesania, Ferzin, Irani, and the Dubai team of WZCC for having organized this wonderful session today. So friends, we will all start from tomorrow to put down what we are grateful for. It is such a pleasure to see Adel Davar in our midst, our global president. Hello, Adel. And now, ladies and gentlemen, time for the question and answer session. So I hand over the mic to Ferzin Irani. Ferzin, who is the WZCC Middle East Director and member of the We team from Dubai. Over to you, Ferzin, and thank you again for giving me this pleasure today.
Thanks very much, Zarine. Thank you, Ashdin and Anahita. That was an awesome and I think great teachings, probably like life lessons for better lifestyle changes. I just have 2 quick questions for both of you before we can actually open it up to our audience. So Anahita, this question is for you. So what do you think are the organic changes that one can, adopt in our daily lives to impact our health positively?
Right. Fantastic. Good evening, everybody. Sorry. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. It was a pleasure to make this video for all of you. So organic changes, when I say organic, I don't mean by ingredients. I mean organic is a lifestyle, and it is very important for us to go back to our roots. We forget that because we've become so fast-paced in our life nowadays, we forget what our, as we say, Baba Adam no Jamano, but that actually has a lot of value. And we need to go back, we need to reminisce, we need to think back to what our grandparents did and great-grandparents, if you remember them, and follow their lifestyles, because that actually has a lot of value for you, for your health, for your mental health, your physical well-being. Eating on time, we don't do that. We get so caught up in our daily lives that we eat lunch at 2 and 3 o'clock. I remember my Bapaji used to have tea at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and my mother used to be like, "You're having tea so early?" And she's like, "Yeah, I eat lunch at 12:30, which is the right time to eat." So doing that, most important. Secondly is to eat in season. I cannot stress enough, because nowadays what happens is with different methods of farming and different ingredient availabilities, because of the transportation that is available, we get pretty much most of our vegetables and fruits year round, especially in a place like UAE. It's available all around the year. So I would recommend try and eat in season. they have better health benefits for you, and your body utilizes those nutrients better when they are in season. That would be my advice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anahita. That was great. Yeah. So I do, yes, I absolutely, I think as Ashdin mentions that you need not just make changes even to your food habits. It could be just one thing at a time, and maybe slowly and surely to come to that, and not just deprive yourself of all the good food. And especially I think as we as Parsis, it is going to be very difficult for us saying that, you know, you cannot have your dhansak or your, kari chawal. Coming to you, Ashdin, I did hear you saying that you need to put positive things into our minds, have positive thoughts, and kind of have that selflessness, and kind of have think about, be more considerate, which kind of makes you selfless, and that should be your mode of service. But as I clearly remember Zarine mentioning in the beginning, that during the last few years, especially during the pandemic, and you have mentioned that, do not watch the news, and, try to put in positive thoughts early in the morning, the first thing probably, and write down 3 grateful things. Now, there are some, or there are many who actually have not, have had a lot of losses during in these few years. And these may not be, a job loss or things like that, but may have been loss of lives, which is very difficult to cope with. And when you mentioned, that you have lost so and so, somebody in front of you would say, oh, I have lost 3 or 4. So how is it possible to, or what advice would you give our audience to think positively, to actually put those positive thoughts when you've actually, you're in grief, you're grieving for your dear ones, and it's nothing that you can think positive about it. So what would your advice be on this?
Ferzin, such a beautiful question. The way to think about this is that if your entire life was just filled with positivity, you wouldn't know that you were being positive. It would be a very boring, it would be a very unsatisfied life, because you need the sadness to find the positivity. Okay, the sadness is also an important part of it. It doesn't mean that you just completely ignore the sadness or remove the sadness in your life. Many of us have lost people in our life, but the important thing is that when we lose people in our life, when we lose our jobs, when we lose our money, when we lose our livelihood, we have to go through what is known as the grieving process. Okay, and there are 5 stages of grieving, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but if you Google search 5 stages of grieving, you will get them immediately. Okay, one of them is anger, then there is, and it ends with acceptance. Now, what we don't do is we don't go through this grieving process. We bottle it up. We fight it. We don't allow it to us to naturally pass through it. And as a result, we stay in this constant feeling, right? Now, if you've gone through this loss, I can understand it. Do the grieving. So Ferzin, that is for people who've gone through the loss. But there are many people who have not gone through a loss, but who are worried about a loss. They're worried about that they will lose this. And as a result, they're living in a constant state of fear. So fear, all fear in life is born out from a place of loss, right? If somebody, says something to you and you are fearful of that person, it's maybe because you're fearful of the way that your standing in society has changed, or the standing in your group has changed. But it's always a loss that exists. Now, we can start off by saying that this loss didn't exist, so then where was the fear from? So understanding when it is a notional loss and when it is an actual loss. When it's an actual loss, grieve. When it's a notional loss, understand that there's no truth to this. Now you fill yourself up with positivity. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think that was very enlightening in a way. So thanks a lot. And I think that was an excellent answer. So with that, I think we are open for any questions from the audience. I do see there was a question from Tenaz earlier, who asks, how much walking do you advise, and what is the time and how much time, the duration for it. This is for you, Ashdin.
So typically about half an hour to an hour in the morning is fantastic, right? So I wouldn't say count steps or I wouldn't say count distance, but count time. So start with half an hour and then move up to an hour. So even if it's half an hour in the building compound, even if it's half an hour in the house, that's perfect. But slowly build it up to an hour, and an hour is more than enough time.
Yeah, that's great. So I hope that's answered your question, Tenas. Any other questions, if any of you would like to ask? Or can we go ahead and none? Okay. Okay, so I guess I think that was beautifully presented and talked about. So I think everyone is clear about it, and actually making a healthy lifestyle, more of a daily thing, and not just like you mentioned, which diets and things like that. Okay, sorry. I think we have a question for Temas, and let me come back to that. Temas, could you ask your question in the chat box again, please? Okay, so I don't see any question from you, Temas. Okay, so with that, we will proceed and,
He asked the question saying, thank you, very inspiring talk. Just want to know how to control negative thoughts.
Okay.
Should I answer that one?
Yes, please go ahead.
So the way to think about negative thoughts, this will take 2 minutes, okay? The way to think about negative thoughts is to think about the way we wash our bottles at home. Right? We all have our glass bottles at home that we wash. Right? What do? We put soap water inside, and then we do catch, and then now it's soapy. Right? And then you pour it out and it's still soapy. And you're like, now how do I get rid of this? What do? We shove it under the tap and then we keep it there. And we keep it there. And we keep it there. And slowly, all the soap starts bubbling out till it is clean. Don't we all do that? That is the way to deal with our minds. So our mind, the soap is the negative thought in our head. So we go, catch, it's frothy. We do this, doesn't come out. We have to influx way more positivity to get rid of all those negative thoughts. All right. That is the best way of thinking about it. There are, of course, techniques that I can get into on, for example, introspection and things like that, but we would need a lot more time for this. An easy way is just fill your mind with positivity. Listen to my podcast. That is a good way of starting. It's called The Habit Coach. Just search for The Habit Coach. You'll get it every single place. If you listen to music on Spotify, that's the best way of doing it. Otherwise, YouTube is a brilliant thing. Just control your negative thoughts by adding more positive stuff to it.
Thank you. We have a question from Farah, again to you, Ashdin, who asks, for intermittent fasting, you have mentioned 12 and to gradually, increase it to 14 or 16 hours. She asks, what if that time fluctuates as within that hour? Is that fine, or what do you think about that?
So the best way of doing it is, when I started, I was like strict. 16 hours means 16 hours, right? But the thing is that 16 turns into 15, turns into 14 some days, perfectly fine, right? But avoid 16 turning into 9. So try sticking to that 1-2 hours in the eating window, and that's perfect. Meaning 1-2 hours here and there of your eating window, and that's perfect. So don't stress out about it too much.
Thank you. We have another one from Kerman, who's asked, if you want to change a habit and which is not necessarily food related, how would you go about to make sure it's consistent?
Lovely. So there are 3 golden rules to habit change. If you have a book, please write this down. It's very important. So the first rule is make it extremely simple. I would say super simple. I normally use the word stupidly simple, because I think what you have to do is you have to make it so stupidly simple, so stupidly small, that when you don't do it, you feel stupid not doing it. Okay? It has to be that small. Now, for example, a yoga practice means pulling out the yoga mat and putting it on the floor. Right? That is it. It doesn't mean a 1 hour yoga practice. Now, if you don't put the yoga mat on the floor and sit on it, you're going to feel a little stupid. Now, matlab, that much also I could not do. So that's why start that small with your habits. Okay. The second golden rule of habit change is make it extra easy. Okay. Extra easy means what? Remove all the friction from it. Now, that same yoga mat, imagine if you put it on top of the cupboard that you needed to take out a ladder for to climb up to get that yoga mat every single day. You added too much friction. Right? So make it extra easy to do. Don't add friction to your life unnecessarily. Why are we making our lives hard? As it is, we have so many excuses that we make. Right? And the last golden rule of habit change is never miss 2 days in a row. Never miss 2 days in a row. You can miss 1 day because we are human beings. I don't want to turn all of you all into robots. That's stupid. Right? You're human beings. You can make a mistake once. It's okay. But don't make it twice in a row. Because when you make it twice in a row, we become experts at making excuses. The habit of excuse is what we are forming instead of the habit of that yoga or whatever else we wanted to create. Yeah. So if you follow these 3 golden rules, you're on your way of onto your path of creating habits.
Great. That's very good advice, actually. We have another one from Cyrus who asks, how often do you need to do the fasting? Is it every week, every 2 weeks?
No, so every day.
Every year.
It's not once in a week. It is what you do 12 hours every day, which is nothing, right? Don't eat 2 hours before sleeping. Don't eat 2 hours after waking up. Then slowly, don't eat for 3 hours before sleeping. Don't eat for 3 hours after waking up. That's all it is. So you start slow and simple with 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours, ultimately coming up to 16.
Great. Thank you so much. I would like to close the session off with all, keeping time in mind. And thank you so much for both our guest speakers, Ashdin Doctor and Anahita Gustaspi, who have actually given us great lessons, great teachings, something that we could implement into our daily lives. And it's not difficult to do it at all. It's something very simple. So I think we can all implement this. And also, would like to thank on behalf of WZCCME, our dear Meher Bhesania, who's been an immense support to us. She is our global director. Also to our global vice president, Yazdi Tantra, who has hosted this webinar and is always there for our support. I think it has been really, this talk and the presentation with recipes has been so inspiring. And I think we can all just like Ashdin rightfully mentioned, we can continue from tomorrow and start from tomorrow itself. We need not do it from Monday. Thank you, special thank you to Adil Davar, our global president, who has joined in today. And thank you for that. And could I please request Adil to just say a few words, please?
Thank you, Ferzin. It is a pleasure to attend today's webinar. Anahita and Ashdin did a wonderful job encouraging us to eat well and live well. I must confess my cooking skills are limited to Chavelu Idu, so I'm dependent on Nelufa for it, and she is very, very particular. However, I appreciate the fact that good healthy eating and good living, physical and mental, leads to a high energy level, which are prerequisites for entrepreneurs. The concept of habit or discipline is of paramount importance. And I believe that habit finally turns to routine, and then it happens on cruise control. So thanks again, Anahita and Ashdin, and also thanks to Mayor Ferzin and the Dubai team for being a very, very active chapter. Thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you. Thank you, Adil.
Thank you, Adil. Thanks very much. Thank you all for the one audience who have joined us today. Thank you for your time and effort that you've taken out and joined us for the webinar. And I wish you all the best to everyone. And please enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.